servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation tapes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I'm thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, serving others, and yes, achieving success. We believe that when we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. We create this show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to make an impact in your world. Hey, whether you're an entrepreneur, a community leader, or simply someone looking to bring more purpose into your daily life, this podcast is here to support and uplift you. My guest is going to tell you a story that's going to blow you out of the water. When I first met her, it's just amazing. And so the ending is, and it's not ended yet, but where she's at now is so awesome. But while you listen to her today, I want you to think about who you're going to serve today and how you're going to create that service. Today's episode is brought to you by an amazing sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Picture yourself joining an elite community of thriving business owners from a variety of industries, all working together to create a powerful referral marketplace. It's an incredible opportunity to expand your network and elevate your business to new heights. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll get you more information. With that being said, as this show is always about impact with a servant's heart, welcome, Honesty. You've got such a big impact you're going to share with the audience.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited for our conversation.
Let's start in the beginning, where this all started, and go for it. It's a crazy story, but a great story at the end.
Sure. So I am in recovery from a substance use disorder. So I started using drugs when I was 12 years old. I just wanted to fit in. I smoked a lot of marijuana and did acid and went to concerts and did a lot of things that a typical 12-year-old didn't do back then. I was really just this hippie chick, really just, marijuana growed from the ground, peace and love. And
yeah,
it was really fun those first few years of just kind of doing my thing. My family never knew I was using. I was doing a lot of acid, drinking alcohol. I just wanted to fit in. I never really liked myself as a child. There was some trauma in my home as well. And it just kind of covered all that up. It got me through a lot of things when I was a very, very young girl. And after all of that, when I was 17 is when I started using heroin. So that is really when my addiction took over. I fell in love with heroin the first time that I did it. I remember where I was at, everything. And then shortly after that, I overdosed, and I was at a party and I overdosed on the heroin and other drugs as well. And I got brought back to life with Narcan, naloxone. Back then it was just intravenous. They didn't have the nasal stuff that they do now. And that's when my family found out. They found out I was using drugs. I hid it for 5 years. And that's when I started my first form of treatment. And back then, what it was shots of buprenorphine in your butt. So I had to do those when my parents had to do it. I went to my first 12-step meeting when I was 17. I didn't stay. I went to a couple when I was 17, and just everyone was a lot older than me. So it just wasn't my jam. And I started using within a week after my overdose. I started out like smoking marijuana again and drinking, but that only lasted like another week. And then I started using heroin again. So throughout all of those years, I used heroin and other opiates for 9 more years after that overdose. Really what opiates do is they take over your central nervous system. They take over your receptors in your brain. My receptors love opiates, and you get addicted pretty quickly. I mean, I got addicted pretty quickly. I committed lots of crimes. I stole from everyone I knew, especially my family, because we harm the people that are closest to us when we have a disease of addiction. And during that world, when I got pregnant with my daughter, so I really thought then, I was 21 years old. I thought that I would stop using because I was taught God gives you a gift as a child. So I used my whole pregnancy. I used heroin and smoked cigarettes and stuff. So she was born substance exposed when I was 21, which means she had to go through withdrawals from the heroin that I was using and putting in my body. So then Department of Social Services came in, obviously. They mandated me to a methadone program. So I went to that for like 2 years. I graduated on paper, but I was bringing in fake urine and doing drugs the whole 2 years. I just didn't want my daughter to be taken away, but I didn't know how to be her mom. And when you have addiction like I do and a substance use disorder, you're living in this world of chaos and insanity, that you think you're okay just because you're doing this drug and not this drug, or vice versa, or alcohol. So that child, she didn't get a chance, because I was still using the whole time after she came out of my womb. And I did the best I could, but my addiction took over really hard. When she was 4, I got sent away to a 28-day program. I did this rapid detox, but I did it backwards because I was still using heroin. And so your brain chemicals shut down. It was a mess. I was a zombie. And I did the 28 days. And then I came home, after the 28 days. I met a boy at the 28-day program. So that's lovely. That's
Yeah.
what happens sometimes in rehab. And I came back here to Richmond, and everything was handed to me, my daughter, my kid, my job, and my apartment. So
Hmm.
28 days really ain't my jam. I don't really advocate for that. I think the longevity of recovery and a quality of life is long. And so me and the boy started using again. He was my then boyfriend, now husband. So we are actually married. So I started using, the last year of my 14 years was the hardest year. I did things as a woman. I did things I never thought I would do, because you get to a desperate point when you're dope sick or going through withdrawal is what it's called, but we call it dope sick. For me, I mentally and physically couldn't handle it. It's like the flu times 1,000. So I stole and lied and cheated and did everything I had to do to get money or drugs. And, my daughter was in the back seat, and she, was a part of that life until I left her with my biological mom when she was 5. And then some months later, I ended up going into the McShin Foundation. So I was 26 years old when my stepmom knew John Shinholzer, the co-founder of the organization, and I moved in there. In May 27, 2007 is my first day of recovery, and I haven't used since. So I have over 17 years in recovery. So that's how
That
I
is,
got.
I was just gonna say, honestly, I didn't do it justice. That's a whirlwind story.
Yeah.
Couple things: not being taking drugs, and there's no judgment here, but my perspective from the outside looking in, you said
Hmm.
something interesting to me: loving heroin. I
Hmm.
hear that and go, well, that's crazy. Explain that a little bit more for people out there that might be people dealing with drugs.
Sure. So, I mean, I believe I was born with these you have chemical receptors in your brain. So, like,
Mhm.
some people really, the receptors really thrive when opiates are in their bodies. And then some people can't. Like, my daughter had all 4 of her wisdom teeth. She took one, like hydrocodone, I think, and she hated it. And she threw up, which I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So she
Yes, yeah,
hated it. So I mean, it's just something chemically in your brain also that everything just goes off. And then it was like the stuff that had already been through, even up to 17 years old, and then all those other 9 years. I went through a lot of trauma, and it just covered up everything. It makes you numb. It makes you not have to deal with life. Of course, all the side effects of that is the dope sick and stealing and the things that happen with that. But to be able to do a drug and avoid everything going on in my life, that's what made me fall in love with it.
yeah. Okay, thank you. The other thing, now I understand much more, and this is what I love meeting people like you, because when I run to somebody that has a drug issue or somebody, I can help them a little bit, of course, get them to you or somebody, but
Sure.
understanding and knowledge is great. The other thing is, you said fit in. I kind of have the idea, but explain what you said. I did all this to fit in.
Well, in the beginning, more it was to fit in. So I was hanging out with older
Okay.
people when I was 12 and 13, and they were already smoking and drinking and stuff. And I said no a couple times, but I have never liked my body since I can remember. So I was always like the chunky friend, and my family situation was all jacked up at home. And so it was just more of like, I just wanted friends. I just wanted, people to like me. And I was like that for years in my addiction. I just wanted people to like me and love me. And so yeah, I just started using because everybody else was doing it.
Yeah. Well, let's get positive. Let's
Okay.
get excited. Let's get a servant's heart, because
Yeah.
audience, this is
totally.
where this thing really takes off that I love this girl so much about. Is 2007, you went to McShin, the program, and
Mhm.
you've been I don't know what's the word,
In
you've not
recovery.
done in recovery since
Mhm.
then, but
Mhm.
your life took even a better step. What happened?
Sure. So my plan was to just detox. I was just going to stay there a week. I ended up, the magic happened, that peer-to-peer connection, living with other women like me, getting their life together. I ended up living there for 5 months. So I immediately started to work like within the first 2 weeks. The executive director at that time hired me to, I was digging ditches, doing landscape. I was doing whatever, like every single day I complained, but every single day I put my head on that pillow in that recovery house and I just didn't do drugs that day. It's as simple as that, but it's so hard and difficult. So like every day turned to weeks, turned to months, and I was slowly getting a quality of life back, which I didn't even know what life was, because I started, like, my brain and everything never fully developed. Your brain don't develop till after you're fully 21. So I was putting hardcore chemicals in my body when I was 12 to then. But so the magic happened living in an environment. The 12-step community adopted me because there was no female staff at McShin at the time. It was 3 males, and they had 3 recovery houses at the time. So 1 was for females and 2 for men. And then after 5 months, I needed to get my daughter back. So my older sister let me and my daughter live with her until I had a year in recovery. And then me and the boy that I met in rehab got an apartment after our year in recovery, and then a house and blah, 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 blah. So that was the plan, but I just stayed. And then after I moved out of the house, I started working at McShin. So really just giving back to women because it wasn't any women staff. And I picked up some traits throughout all the jobs that I had while I was using, of like admin stuff like Microsoft Word and Excel. So I slowly built a career really from my heroin addiction, to be honest with you.
It's interesting. Yeah, it saved your life, but increased your life by giving you a career.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
Does your story give hope to people either dealing with drugs or taking drugs?
Oh, 100. I mean, we call ourselves hope dealers now instead of dope dealers. Oh, totally. I mean, anytime I have a chance, I mean, I wrote a book, it's very short, but anytime I have a chance to just talk about what recovery is, because unfortunately I love my career and I love what I do, but on the dark side of it, I have been to a lot of funerals and memorials, hundreds. It's insane right now with the fentanyl and now the xylazine. There's a bunch of new drugs. Because when I was using it was just old-fashioned heroin. It wasn't anything like this,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have survived either, I'm sure, if it was. So any opportunity that I get to speak or our team gets to speak, because all of the team at McShin are all in recovery, and about 90% of our staff are alumni of our program.
You're a true servant's heart. You took your catastrophic life, turned it around, and you're giving back.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Pretty radical. It really is. Like sometimes I just celebrated in May 17 years in recovery, and sometimes I look around And it's like, even in the days where it's like so hard, because you're dealing with addiction every single day and you're dealing with humans, which is hard too. And,
Yeah.
I get up every morning and I know that I am walking in my purpose. Like I have no question. I know what I do in my life to help specifically moms, because do have a women and children's house now in McShin, which I love. It's named after my
Amen.
daughter. It's called Destiny House. Um, I know all the 14 years of me using drugs and alcohol and the trauma and the pain and everything that I went through has made me A, the woman that I am today, but B, I'm not ashamed or anything about any of it because I know I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of women and men too throughout these 17 years of just sharing my story. I mean, why not? I mean, we only have this one life on this planet, and if people can get into recovery from whatever form of addiction and have a successful life, then we need to continually talk about it.
God bless you. Yeah, the way you turn this around is just amazing. Every time I see your name, Honesty is such a great name for
Mhm.
you because you're honest of your life. Where are you now with McShin?
So I'm the CEO. I've been the CEO for 11 years. And well, I'm kind of the director of development too. So I wear a lot of roles. But the co-founder just retired December 31st. So I am now the lead. So yep, I've been that for 11 years, the CEO. So I do a lot of the grants, the fundraising, cultivating donors, relationships, a lot of stuff nationally because McShin is accredited and nationally known. So we help other states open recovery community organizations and recovery
Mhm.
housing. So we do a lot of technical assistance as well. And then I do help a ton with Destiny House. Like that's the house out of our 15 houses that we do have, that I really spend time with the moms and the children. And, I don't, it's my baby. The
Yeah, I was
babies are
gonna
my
say
baby.
it's your
Yeah.
passion. That destiny will
Yeah.
always be first because it's your daughter's name.
Yeah.
So I know this is a hard question, but what's a simple piece of advice you give somebody either dealing with drugs from an outside looking in or doing drugs? What could you tell them?
Sure. Dealing with it, hold on. Don't ever give up on your loved one, but also set healthy boundaries. There's a ton of national organizations, Families Anonymous. There's craft training, there's a lot out there. We have a family program, but really like a lot of people that I've encountered just don't, even my daddy, he wanted me to take a magical pill and make this all go away. He didn't understand what addiction was. He just wanted to just stop. And it's hard when you're addicted to drugs or alcohol. You just can't just stop normally. So really get your education and really understand what your loved one is going through. That's what I would say to the families. Like, don't ever give up on them, but also there is a point in time where you have to have a healthy boundary. That's why you talk to professionals and get all that underway. As far as the individual using, like, don't give up on yourself. Like the shame and the guilt that I felt as a mom was the biggest. That's why I kept using for those 5 years until I found McShin, because I hated myself and what I did to my daughter and all the stuff I continue to do and put her in danger. So the biggest thing that I teach the humans that we serve at McShin is self-love, really understanding the radical gratitude that you have in life. Like the drugs and alcohol, don't do those. That's obvious, whatever. I really focus on the inner soul, and like how you can forgive yourself for the crap that we do while we're using so you can move on. And it's the ultimate key to recovery is helping someone else. So like just hold on and definitely reach out to your local community service board, to the hospitals, to an RCO, a recovery center, a treatment center. There's so much out there now. There wasn't much back in the day when I was getting help, but there is a lot out there. But just also be careful, definitely read the reviews because there are places out there that aren't my jam, and safe
Yeah.
to go to.
Yeah, great advice. And it's
Mhm.
coming from so many experience. And I always say that's the best advice. I
Mhm.
couldn't give that advice because I haven't experienced it. You lived it.
Sure.
And that leads to life. You lived an incredible life, good
Yeah.
and terrible and good. So right
Mhm.
now, what does life mean to you?
A lot of travel baseball. Our son will be 15
Yeah.
Monday, so he actually has a local tournament I'm going to right after this. No, really life is just like I understand that this is my only life. So every single day, like this is my room back here. I go and I read readings every morning. I love the coloring, meditative coloring books. I exercise at least 6 days a week. I do ice baths. I'm in therapy. So I do a bunch of things for my mental health and for my recovery. But the biggest thing is really like trying to be joyful, not necessarily happy every single day, and really helping someone else, whether it's my neighbor, even. It doesn't have to be someone in recovery, really just being a good human out there into the world and reflecting that on my children since they're the next generation. And I think we've done a pretty good job. We're not perfect either. Like I definitely pop off, you got a teenager in the house, so sometimes it's not that pretty. But for the most part, I mean, he's like our best friend. He's our daughter's now 22, so she still lives
Wow.
here. She works at a restaurant and is in nursing school. I mean, we're family and we're parents, but we're really just friends and, hanging out in this thing called life. We're not promised an hour. You just never know what's going to happen. I've just dealt with so much death that I really strive to just rock out life and live a radical existence,
And
period,
you,
because this is it.
yeah,
Hmm.
you lived death too. So that's the other
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you
that was
know.
weird. That's another
Yeah,
whole, I saw
yeah,
the
that's
light. Yeah, it
oh,
was
it's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. And the thing I'm getting from you, you've said recovery a number of times. You're
Mhm.
always going to be in recovery. I think that's a great lesson for somebody that's been on drugs, that's been addicted. Your mindset should be from the day till the day you die, you're always in recovery, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a longevity, it's a lifestyle. And then you
Yeah.
get a life that you never even dreamed of. It's not really getting your life back because even before I was using, I don't want that. It was pretty traumatic. Like I don't want that life. I've developed with my husband and our children and our team at McShin, like developed a life that's worth living every single day. So
I love
it's
it.
it's just life, but it's drug and alcohol free and a lot of soul searching, and it's pretty cool.
God bless you, because I love to hear the happiness in your voice. Everything you just shared with us, I don't know if I could have survived it. And and just that's what my thoughts come to. So God bless you. But let's have a little fun.
Okay.
So you're going to a restaurant, you've got a
Mhm.
table of four,
Mhm.
you have one chair. Who are the three other people in the chairs, dead or alive? Why are they going to sit in those chairs? And what food would you order?
Oh, totally. Bob Marley, number one. Um, he's my favorite of all time. He puts me in a place ever since I was little, like puts me in a happy place no matter what's going on in my life. I've seen One Love probably 7 times since it came out.
Is it
Um,
good?
It's
Uh,
really good. I mean,
okay,
I
I'm gonna
love
watch it.
Bob. They
I
did, it was beautiful. It was awesome. So literally my husband's like, you're watching this again. And I love it. So 100% Bob Marley. Definitely my husband. He is my best friend. He is my rock. He's seen
Amen.
me because we used together too. So like he's seen me through thick and thin. Um, Two more, I think. Um, Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek. There's something about him that I've watched Schitt's Creek probably 20 times. There's something about him, his humanism, outside of David Rose that I really value and absolutely love. And the fourth, I don't know who the fourth, probably some type of funny, who I think it'd be like, who I do really do like is Julia Louise Dreyfus.
Amen.
She's
I love her. Oh
She's
yeah.
super funny. She's super real. She stands up for women. And I don't get fake at all. And I know she's a celebrity, but I really think we would become best friends if we hung out. As far as food, I don't eat pork or beef, so it would definitely be some type of healthy, huge salad. If I had any, also choice would be ice cream for desserts for sure. And I'm a big roll girl. So if you have a good roll with like cinnamon butter, I do like that. So I'm pretty simple with the food. I like earthly
It's good.
food and chicken. So I eat chicken a lot and tuna.
Well, I like that you made it a cheat day too. because that's what I would call it with your rolls and the ice cream. Let's
Oh
have a cheat
yeah.
day. Yeah, have that cheat day.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, honestly, we come to the end of time. I can't believe time flew by. I knew it would. Thank you for sharing your story and
Mhm.
inspiring, motivating others, and educating us, people, especially who haven't done drugs, how to be able to handle it much better. People listening, how can they find you?
Sure. So McShin.org, MCSHIN.org. My personal, I am on Instagram, at Diary
Mhm.
of a Woman in Recovery. You can check that out. McShin is on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, I mean, I'm on TikTok, but I don't really know what I'm doing, so you don't need to follow me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't
Sound like
know
me.
what I'm doing. My son is like, "What are you doing?" So, I don't know. But yeah, really Instagram is really what I strive on. And McShin is on all three.
Great. So reach out. I'll put it in the show notes. And I want
Okay.
to thank the audience. Me and Honesty, thank you so much for watching or listening to this
Mhm.
podcast. I know you got motivated because I did. I'm fired up right now. Don't forget my TV show Together We Serve every Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And as always, I want to, look to see you at the next episode at Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. See you all later.